All right. Well, that was AEW Collision.
No, it wasn't. Did you see the other thing?
No, that was all I saw.
Not the first thing, but the other thing. No, the big debut, Brian. The big debut of Tony Khan's new spectacular gimmick.
Okay, now I think I may have an idea what you're talking about. I did not see it, but earlier in the day, people were tweeting us, and I thought it was just some kind of joke. Are you going to watch Tony Khan's hologram wrestler? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, hologram, I don't want ya. Hologram, I don't need ya. Hologram, 'cause all you are is another small person trying to wrestle.
What was it exactly?
Well, he is a masked Mexican middle schooler doing gymnastics. And he does them real good. He can jump up and stand on the guy's shoulder and backflip and land on his feet and jump down, turn around, pick a bale of cotton and all that stuff. It's amazing. At one point, his opponent grabbed the guy's wrist, old Hologram, and Hologram just took off running to the ropes on his own. He wasn't whipped. He just touched the man. Whoosh, off he goes. And he's, Sammy Guevara standing next to him would kind of look like Lex Luger next to fucking George South. In terms of, he's small. He's got a mask on. And apparently they're saying that Tony came up with this gimmick, but also, and he glows. He wears some shit that glows when he comes out to the ring. But apparently he signed this guy a couple years ago or and I'm willing to be corrected, but I saw some banter on Twitter that he signed this guy some length of time ago with this is going to be the greatest gimmick ever. And boom, and there you go. And
so it's a real person. It's not actually a wrestling hologram in any way.
No, but he is hologram. That is him.
Why do you keep saying hologram?
Because it's HOLOGRAM, the way that I've looked it up as how you spell hologram.
Not hologram?
Well, that would be HOLLOWGRAM, hologram. Like Sleepy Hollow, or Down in the Hollow. Down in the valley so low.
Come on, don't hurt people.
Well, I'm trying not to. Are you insinuating that the women would fall in love with my voice because I'm such a romantic crooner?
Hold on, I'm pulling up the debut. This is hologram?
This guy over here?
Well, no, I just saw him standing on the ropes. He's not in like a spectacular shape or anything, and this is going to be Tony's Blood Runs Cold gimmick?
I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, I bet you there you go.
I don't know. I don't know whose opponent it is.
Now,
either.
see, people have derided me for some of my gimmicks. Some of mine turned out okay. The thought of Lance Storm and Chris Jericho as a tag team didn't do too bad for a while. You had the Batistas of the world that prospered somewhat, but nevertheless.
Wow, this guy really flies around.
He certainly does, doesn't he?
And he's built like the original El Santo. Like when he was 65, right when he retired. You ever see that retirement footage from like 1982 or whatever? This is what he looks like.
No, they almost wrapped him in bubble wrap. But no, this is a young man. He's being careful in some things and reckless in others. It was an odd. It looked like he didn't want to hit the ropes too hard. It was like a cheese grater, but then he'd just fucking fly everywhere.
He's kind of like a Lucha Libre greatest hits. I'm watching this guy. He's doing everyone's stuff.
Oh, he's spinning and twirling.
Who's he wrestling? Who's the opponent here? Who is this guy?
Actually, El Gringo Loco. I called some of his matches in MLW, and for a pudgy white guy...
Oh, you're being serious. I thought you were joking.
No, for a pudgy white guy, I remarked to him that he doesn't look bodily like he ought to be able to do all that flipping about, but he was flipping too. And then you got the other guy flipping and him flipping, and it's flipping fucking repetitive. But they were trying to pay tribute to authentic lucha.
Is this guy exclusive to Collision?
I hope he's exclusive to Collision on July the 20th.
See, he just went down. See, that's what I'm talking about. He just went down in the corner and he's on the ground adjusting his knee pad, and the referee comes over and starts whispering to him.
Well, in this case, I think they just made his outfit. He couldn't get that fucking knee pad unfucking twisted for anything in the world.
And by the way, I've never seen this referee before. Is this someone who speaks Spanish? Is that why he's here for this match?
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I don't know who this referee is. Whoa, El Gringo Loco, standing moonsault. Wow.
Yeah. And he's a fat, pudgy white guy.
He's loco.
See, now, if you had El Gringo Loco on a wrestling promotion of primarily American or North American style pro wrestlers, and he did that shit, being a guy that can speak English and looks like a fucking baked potato with arms, legs, and a beard, and doesn't look like he ought to be able to do some of that stuff, you could make that his gimmick and you could get a guy like that over.
He's adjusting the knee pad again. You know, this guy could be clearly the Gringo Jacob Fatu.
Well, I've never thought of it that way. But give him a fucking gimmick. He's from a goddamn, I don't know, the hills of Missouri or some trailer park in Arkansas. I don't fucking know. And then he uncorks that shit, and he's just the underdog babyface. Well,
he just did a moonsault off the rope, but he landed on the ground, and I turned it into a body slam or something. They fucked up something and tried to make it work, and it looked very interesting.
Yeah, they almost were going for 4 on that injury list on that one. I remember that one too.
Man, who is this guy? This is something.
Oh my God, they gave his name on. Is there a young lucha star named Aramis? Would he be one of the 3 Musketeers? Is this?
Where are you getting your lucha news from?
Well, I seem to remember. I seem to remember the name Aramis, and I'm just trying to go from there.
I'm not sure. Well, that's the debut of Holly. He's got him in a torture rack. He's spinning, and then I turned it into a power bomb.
Yes.
And that's the finish. Oh, wow.
There you go.
And the crowd is all clapping. No one's standing, but they're clapping, so that's a positive sign.
Well, also there's a lot of fleas in the air in Dallas at this time of night.
If they take your advice, if they can, and add those bleachers and everything, I actually think it's a pretty cool looking, unique venue. I mean, the screen behind them, I'm not a big fan of the screens or the stages, but it looks different. It looks all right.
Well, that's what I'm saying is they need to do something with it instead of it not being an empty building. And I'd rather see the fans in the camera shot than the goddamn giant stage and Tron. I mean, you can have both. But out of the two, I think the fans are more important. Make it a bowl. Make it up close to where, this is, again, if they're going to do this, instead of trying to look like they're just in a, the same kind of building with a smaller crowd, make it something that's intimate, that the old center stage look even. Where the people are up on everything, except you give them room to do their bullshit outside on one side or whatever the fuck. The diving pit. And then, bring the people up close where you can see the fans and see them hopefully reacting. And make it look cooler and more intense and more up close on television, shot with a different style, instead of just being, there's that wrestling in the big empty building. And you can do wonders with giant, again, he's spending more money for the goddamn giant video screen than he would for fucking bleachers to put the people up where they can see also, because it's a rotten live event experience if there's 15 rows on the floor and you're in row 14. You ain't gonna see dick.
Do we know for sure that he's bringing them in, the video screens? Because, again, it's the esports arena. You got to figure this is what they primarily do, is have people sit there and watch screens.
Well, no, the big stage that they've got, I would think he brought it into Las Vegas. We had a line item for goddamn staging. It's a television production. So, yes, I understand why they have the screen and the stage or the entranceway or whatever the fuck. But if you're going to, if he's going to in any way spend money on that, if he ain't spending money on it, then why ain't he spending money on it? Rather than some of the other things he's spending money on. That's what I'm saying. Riser seating, a shape to the thing, make it look like a goddamn a fight pit with 1,000 people in it, or maybe 750 as it goes on. I think the advance on one of their shows is 400 for a few weeks from now. But make it a fight pit with the cool screens and the way they come. Should the wrestlers come down to the ring? Would that be just something to make it different?
That's one of my things, I've said it before, that I love. When a wrestler, when you say come through the crowd, when the entranceway was kind of, they had to walk through the area with fans, the fans were close to them, there's security around them. To me, that stood out more.
But also the Dallas Sportatorium, remember? Because the floor of the Sportatorium was a pit with seats all around except for that blank wall where the fire had happened in the 50s. And the locker room level was above, it was on the level of the top seating, and you would come down that entranceway. That's all the cool shots of the Von Erichs coming down through the crowd as they're, it's the same thing now with Jey Uso. When he starts the breezeweight, he comes down. So build you a goddamn bowl and let it be an entrance tube at the top and let them come down through the pit. You see all the people, they can interact with them. And again, you could do a 360-degree pan around your ring if you built a bowl that held 600-700 fucking people. You could fill it up no matter what. You could go 360 degrees around. You'd see nothing but people around the ring. Let them do their shit there, because they're the pits anyway. See, I just had a free idea for them.
All right, well, that was AEW Collision. What a debut.
All righty.
A debut in a new building, I should say.
What a debut for a new concept. They got to try these things, but they need to dress it up a little. It's like they just moved into the apartment.
Okay.
You know, it's when you're just eating frozen pizza, you don't really have time to put your knickknacks out.